Oh my god, that is the first beer I've had in months. Being home sucks. But it's the perfect occasion to pop some out because I beat The Last of Us 2 days ago, and this is ripe material for another drunken rant. Now, I doubt beers will do it for me, because of course last time I had a whole bottle of wine when I talked about Joker, but this is all going to be one take, just talking full spoilers, everything. So if you are interested in playing the game, haven't beaten it yet, whatever, do not watch this. Full spoilers, you have been warned. Because, oh Nelly, there's a lot to talk about. So The Last of Us, the original, is one of my favorite games of all time. I should preface this whole thing with that. And this is a very similar situation to Joker, where Last of Us Part 2 and Joker were both some of my most anticipated things within their medium upon release. And I came out beyond disappointed, and over time just hating both. So, cheers. So, I was I was very curious about the leaks, but I didn't really see many of them. All I saw was that the new character Abby kills Joel with a golf club. That's all I knew going in. Didn't know why, when that happened in the story, and stuff like that. So going in, it was quite relatively a fresh experience. So I was playing it. After 25 hours, it is the most immeasurably disappointing experience of my life. For a lot of reasons. So I'm going to start talking about the good. What I liked about the game, I think the gameplay is substantially improved. I feel like movement and the speed rhythm of everything feels so much more natural, and it's going to be hard to go back to the original because it just does not play as well. Now, the main two additions are the dodge button and being able to go prone instead of just crouch or stand. Now, the dodge button, in a lot of ways, does make the game far easier. It makes you less incentivized to do stealth, because you're like, okay, well, I'll just melee dodge, and I'll come out relatively unscathed from most situations. And that's how I played. I'm like, I never really prioritized stealth unless I knew clearly where I had to go to proceed out of that combat area and into the next area. And this goes into one of my gripes, is that because the level design is so vast and wide, it creates really organic experiences and lots of incentive for exploration. But on the downside, what this means is that a lot of the times it is not clear at all where you're supposed to be going, because you will go into a situation. Ew, my hair looks so bad. Goddamn. I'm so sweaty. Fuck. You want to go in stealth approach, and then you sneak. You do all these things to go out of your way to sneak around, and then you get to the spot you think you're supposed to go to. It's not it. So now you're like, fuck, where do I go? Then you gotta figure out where to go, and on your way there, you get spotted. This happens to me almost every time I try to sneak. Then I just end up having to kill everyone and everyone there anyways in order to succeed and be able to move on. It's the worst. So even when I do want to play stealth, it actively discourages me from doing so through its vast level design. Anyway, back to my positives. I have plenty of negatives to go over, as you can see. Couldn't even do a positive without a negative. The graphics are really good. I do not understand how the fuck a base PS4 can run this shit. It is unreal. I literally could not notice any instances of anti-aliasing not being present, or aliasing being present, I should say. It literally looked almost flawless. It's crazy. The only thing I will say, this isn't really a negative, but it's just a Naughty Dog Games thing where they're all their cutscenes are in real time, it seems like, but the character models are so vastly different in actual gameplay. They just look significantly worse, and it's really what breaks the immersion of that seamless transition between gameplay and cutscene. But hey, what can you do? And I really like the graphics. The score, now, there are 2 people that actually worked on the score, I found out today. One of them is the guy who did the first one, Gustavo. And the second guy, I'm forgetting his name. Oh fuck, Dell support assist is loading. I don't want that to open. Great. The second guy is actually the one who composed this music for Mr. Robot, the show. And their styles of music in this game are so vast. Shut the fuck up, PC. Holy fuck, you're not even running anything major. Why are you getting so loud? God damn. See, with the Joker one, I was able to record this rant on my phone, but the mic just doesn't work properly anymore on my phone, so I can't even fucking do that. And I have to wait for this support assist bullshit to stop so I can continue talking. And I have to stick to my promise of this being all one take. I hate computers. I hate computers so much. I'll always be a console boy. This shit sucks. I mean, look at this fucking webcam I have to use compared to my phone camera. Almost done. And their music is so different. You have Gustavo's, you know, I preferred it more in the first game. In this one, it didn't seem as present, like there's nothing memorable. But the second composer's music is extremely memorable. He fucking knocked it out of the park. He made the more tense synth-based themes and shit. Make the more... He's the one who composes the intense stuff, the combat stuff. It's fantastic. It enhances the experience, which is what music's purpose should be in a medium. It should never outright take over, unless it's music itself, of course. Fuck, my hair looks so bad. There. Fuck. Jesus. Fuck. I have no control. There, whatever. That's fine. Regrettably, we are all out of Bud Light. And so, surprisingly, yeah, he outdid Gustavo, which I did not expect at all. So shout out, music's really good. What else did I like? Give me a moment to think about this one. I actually don't know if I like anything else. I think that's it, because everything else is absolutely negative. I think it's time I just talk about the story and why it doesn't work. So, the first game, as Neil Druckmann, the biggest asshole in the world, puts, is the first game's about love, this one's about hate. Oh, this game's super serious. You gotta feel the emotions. We don't consider this game fun here at Naughty Dog. We want the players to feel things. Fuck you, asshole. Fuck you. Games can be fun. You're just a pretentious piece of shit who thinks that your game has to be elevated higher than it actually deserves to be. Fuck you. So, yeah, that's another thing I should say. Neil Druckmann is the worst. The Naughty Dog crunch conditions also did not add to my... Well, actually, I did not add this. I did say it was one of my most anticipated games until the crunch stuff came out and the leak stuff came out. Just the negativity surrounding everything made me not look forward to it. And I was just really excited to see how much of a shit show the game would end up being. So that's another thing I should add. And yeah, I hate Neil Druckmann so much. He is... in my Uncharted 4 analysis video I worked on a long time ago but never finished because it just wasn't good, I compared Neil Druckmann to David Cage and Hideo Kojima's The Failed Filmmaker trilogy, because they're three people in the games industry who are desperate to be film directors but just were never good enough to make it, so they had to settle for games. But after Death Stranding, I pulled Kojima out of that. Shout out Death Stranding. I went to that game also thinking I'd hate it, but that one I actually ended up really liking, borderline loving, but it gets so frustrating at times that it's doomed to be like a 7 or 8 out of 10 tops. But discussion for another day. These drinks got my mouth running. Yeah, let's talk about the game. Yes. So, Last of Us Part 2 starts very strong. The opening scene is just Joel telling Tommy, I killed a bunch of fireflies to save Ellie. And then Tommy's just like, Jesus, Joel, that's a lot. In between him talking, it flashes back to the finale of The Last of Us, and I think the editing there is super solid, direction super solid, acting super solid. I love it. I went in and I'm like, oh shit, this is why the game's getting a bunch of 10 out of 10s. This is going to be a solid one. And I like the moment of Joel and Ellie after that where they're just talking and like dancing around the awkwardness of him withholding the truth from Ellie. But in a way, as we could infer from then, Ellie kind of figured out something was up with Joel. So I really like the extension of that tension in that scene. And then after that, we flash forward to the present. Ellie's 19 now, I believe. And she's... her and Joel have adjusted into the community in Tommy's community and wherever it is, and I like just exploring around. This game has the best baby models I've ever seen, because in video games they tend to model children as shrunken adults and they just look super horrifying. Like for me, the examples that come to mind are Aloy and fucking Horizon Zero Dawn as a kid. It's the worst kid model I've ever seen. And then the kids in Metro games are up there as the worst. But this one really, those babies, I went, oh shit. I almost dropped something. I was like on the verge of tears. Like, those babies are the cutest shit I've ever seen. It's perfect. And yeah, so the opening, everything starts really solid. And then it cuts to Abby. I go, oh god, we are introducing her really fucking early, huh? And my instinct was right, because you end up playing as her for pretty much half the game, which should not be the case for someone so uninteresting, but we'll get to that. So basically, Abby kills Joel. I don't have a problem with that. I think Joel has lived a life of sin, and this was inevitable. It was going to catch up to him. I do not have a problem with Joel dying, let alone at the hands of Abby. But how he died, a golf club, that's fucking stupid. There's not even, I don't know, like, it doesn't make sense. It just seems so like Neil Druckmann watched or played BioShock. It was like, I want to do that, piece of shit. And then shit, I got shit on my leg. Okay, got that off. What I would have done differently, what I would have appreciated is if Abby did it with her bare hands. It would match the theme, it would make it even more personal, and it would match with her character because Ellie's like agile and knife based. Abby's a brute. She just punches the fuck out of everything in her gameplay, so it would make perfect sense. And if you wanted to elevate the idea that violence is bad, because that's all this game really has to say. Violence is bad, revenge is bad, feel bad, man. A great way to have done it is with her fists, because since, like I said, she just punches everyone else in the game, it would make Joel's death seem like it's just another death in this world. Even though it's super personal to her and that she had a vendetta out for him and shit like that, and want to get revenge, it'd still be personal by just poof, poof, while everyone's like, Abby, stop, and she just blood splashing her. Like, you could have made it really powerful, but no. A golf club just feels so tacky and gross and dumb. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. I hate it. They blew it. What could have been a powerful moment, they blew it. I knew that was the only thing I knew going into the game, and I'm like, this seems stupid. This is stupid. But God, beer makes me so burpy. Why does beer make me gassy in the mouth and not in the butt? I don't get beer, man. But oh shit, I've become a lightweight. I'm kind of feeling it. Anyways, yeah, a lot of people had criticisms that Joel dying is so awful. How could you do this to the character we love? And those people are wrong. They're approaching this the wrong way. You can have a good story that subverts your expectations by having a beloved character die early on. But this was not the way to do it. You know what? I'm going to go into it. This is my rewrite of The Last of Us Part 2, how I would have done it. It would start with Joel. It'd start the exact same way. Joel telling Tommy about it, and that creates the tension. Does Ellie know? Tommy knows. And only Joel and Tommy. Nobody else. And then, so it basically be, then all those flashbacks that happen in the actual game throughout would take place throughout the game. But the story setup would be, we do play one level as Abby that sets up her character motivation that says, I'm going after Joel. He must die. I need your guys' help. Basically trying to gather people within her group to help her go on this journey. And then they go. And then it cuts back to Joel and Ellie having a moment, just doing some shit like akin to going to the museum. Just another adventure with Joel and Ellie. They're just doing something. And they get ambushed. And so they try running back to the Tommy's hometown, whatever, the base. And then they're like, Jesus, Joel, what the hell did you do to rile them up? They don't seem like bandits or shit like that. Like, acknowledging that something's off about this. Like, this seems super specific to Joel. And he's like, I don't know. I was just out with Ellie. Some shit like that, basically. And then it's just like, Tommy, I need your help. And then he's like, oh, I knew some people from the Fireflies here in Seattle, and they could still go. It'd give them incentive for Joel and Ellie both to go on the run to Seattle, because what would make it interesting is that the first Last of Us was about Joel and Ellie going across the country, but this one is them running away from their end goal. So it's a direct continuation of the journey, but with completely different motivations. They're not heading to something, they're running away from something. And so on their way, they run across the Seraphites. Pardon me. We're gonna come across the Seraphites, clickers and shit. And the reason the Seraphites are still here is so that whenever the WLV, because Abby in this game would amass a very large group of people, and so they'd constantly, once in a while, just end up catching up and giving Joel and Ellie some shit. Like, there could be a set piece at one point where they literally have high ground and Joel and Ellie are below, and then they like throw a flare or something to get the attention of clickers, and they have to fight their way out of that. Some shit like that, basically. Like, Abby would be a direct antagonist, and then after that, it's basically a whole tension of like Ellie's then asking, why the hell are these guys after you? And Joel has no answers because he's lived a whole life of sin. Because in the first game, they talk about how Tommy and Joel had to do what they had to survive. And so this would essentially be a game where he's forced to live and reflect on his past actions and think, who the hell could this be? What the hell could I have done to them? And this is how, like, he can tell Ellie stories, or hell, we can maybe even play flashbacks to certain events of the awful things he's done. And so it really becomes, the main themes of the story would be regret, forgiveness, grief, guilt, shit like that. So instead of love of each other, it'd still kind of be about that, because it'd be more about love of self, kinda, about forgiveness. Like, he has to forgive himself for his actions. But can he really justify the awful things he did? I wouldn't know exactly what he did. You could come up with that. But basically enough that he truly does not know what the hell these guys are at him for. And then they get to Seattle. They look for the people that Tommy sent them to. They find the place they're located. It turns out they're all fucking dead. What the hell do they do now? Before they can figure it out, Abby and her group burst in. You play as her. You have to find Joel and Ellie. You find Joel. You go for a knife, and then it's a quick time event fight where you end up holding him back, and then Ellie comes at the last second before you're about to choke him out, stabs you in the shoulder, you throw her into a wall, she knocks unconscious, and you get your soldiers here and say, grab him. They grab Joel, and then it's a cutscene where he's like, just get it over with, and Ellie's like, stop, why are you doing this? And then she explains, you have no idea the things this man has done, have you? And then we play the flashback, kind of similar to how it happens in the original, or the actual Last of Us Part 2, except the whole zebra stupid bullshit thing. This Last of Us Part 2 uses so many animals for manipulative purposes that it's so corny and never effective once. And that's wouldn't happen here. Just be a flashback of her and her dad, and then he gets called to action because like Ellie and Joel and Ellie finally arrived. It's time. You're like, whoa, what? And then it pans, Salt Lake City Hospital. And then it'd play out similarly where we play as Abby, where she's running down the hall. She finds her dead doctor dad. Perfectly fine motivation. I don't disagree with it. It's just done so horribly in the original game. But here, it'd still be effective because it'd be kind of a plot twist finding out, oh shit, so your actions in the end of the first one really had more implications than we thought there were. And so when she tells Ellie, she's like, Joel, you lied to me? that's how Ellie finds out that or gets full confirmation of exactly what happened that day while she was unconscious. She always had suspicions, but was never able to get answers out of anyone. So she didn't truly know, but now she knew. And he just breaks down crying. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And then Abby says something to kind of diminish his guilt and regret by pointing out how much of an awful monster he is. And when you put it into perspective like that, then the player starts to feel conflicted. Like, oh my god, Joel's a monster. And this is the moment I found out right before it looks like he's gonna die? That's fucked. And before anything, you play as Abby. You press square as much as you can. You just pummel the shit out of Joel till he's bleed to a pulp and all dead as fucking hell. And Ellie's just losing it. I'll kill you. I'll kill all you motherfuckers. And then Abby goes up to her and says something like, if I see you again, you're dead. And what she does is like, I don't know how she'd hold her back. Maybe like tie her up to something while the Abby and her friends leave, so that it basically figures out a way so that she doesn't immediately go after them after the death. And so after Ellie's grieving, then we take back control of Ellie and we break her out of there. She goes to Joel's body, grabs his jacket, puts it on, and goes to hunt them. And that starts the third act. And it'd play out a lot like how it does in The Last of Us Part 2, except it'd be way more motivated and would make way more sense. Because we're on Ellie's side at this point. So we get answers. Or actually, we could have it so that she goes back to Tommy's and explains everything and says, I need all the men I can get. I need everything I can get. Supplies, weapons, shit, horse. I need to kill these people and I need your help finding them. And he's like, what the hell happened to the guys you're supposed to see? They're all dead. And he's like, shit. So and maybe that's the way we find out that the Fireflies don't exist anymore. He explains, that was the last of them. And about, oh, The Last of Us, oh. And then you actually go with Tommy. He's your side character that you go with on this journey. You find them, but when you figure out where they are, it's kind of the same. They're actually captured by the Seraphites, and a lot of them are dead. And because Abby is their leader, they came to the conclusion that Abby's the leader because she was leading them, even though she's really not the leader of the WLF, but in this group she was. So they take her, they save her for last, but before they can kill her, you kill all the Seraphites, you get Abby down, and you see how weak and lost all her muscle and just miserable looking she is, and she's like, it's you. And so Ellie just grabs her and puts a knife to her throat. And very similar to Joel's death, she just says, just get it over with. Blah, blah, blah. Basically accepting her death. Also accepting her own sins in life. And Ellie would be contemplating doing it. And Tommy's like, well, what are you waiting for? You came this far. There's no turning back now. And then Ellie just has flashes of moments where Joel shows her vulnerability and forgiveness and shit. But it's kind of what happens in The Last of Us Part 2, where she just has one flash of Joel. Basically the moment where she says she's going to forgive him. And that just snaps her out of it. She's like, I'm not going to kill you. I need to learn forgiveness. So kind of like that. She has a flash to Joel. Maybe multiple, maybe one would be just fine. And she just drops the knife and breaks down crying. And then Abby just looks at her. And she tries getting up, but she can't. So they're both just on the floor there. Ellie's crying, and then Abby kind of starts to cry. And Tommy's just like, he kind of understands without saying a word. It looks like he understands what went through Ellie's mind. And so he goes to comfort her. He's looking at Abby. And Abby just says, "I'm sorry for your loss." And then gets the energy to walk away and shit. And they just watch her walk away. And Tommy's like, "Let's go home." And then it cuts to a few months later. Ellie's just hanging out with Tommy, living peacefully, and she's playing the guitar that Joel taught her how to play. She plays a song, cut to black. That, sorry for the super long tangent, that to me would be the proper way to make a sequel. It'd get the idea of forgiveness, still incorporate the love, because it's so easy to become violent. But throughout my theoretical game, Joel would be the kind spirit. It's kind of the God of War effect, where Kratos has been such an awful person his whole life. He's trying to teach Atreus to do the opposite. Very similar arc, where Joel has been such an awful person in the past, but now he's grown to love Ellie, and the second game would be all about elevating her to be the best person she can be, and to not be like everyone else in this ravaged world. It'd be great. I just came up with that on the spot. And Neil Druckmann and co. had 7 years to come up with the concept for part 2, and this is what they came up with. Flashback within a flashback. You play as a whole other character. See, playing as Abby, you play as her for way too long. And the problem with having you play her after you kill Joel means that you don't care about her. You just end up hating her the whole time, because you're like, oh my god, this person killed Joel. Why the hell would I ever want to play her? And then once you play as her, it really tries to make you care about her and everyone in her life. No, it goes on for way too long. It's filler. The whole Lev and Yara, I think her name was, that whole thing is a waste of time, and it's just supposed to be a foil to the Joel and Ellie story, but it doesn't work at all. I like Lev. They're cool, but Abby and Lev kinda works. As its own game, I think it would have worked. But as her being the villain, and you having to play as her for over 10 hours and whatever, it's awful. It's awful. It's just filler. It's a waste of time. It makes you even forget about Ellie. And that's another thing this game does. It forgets so much about all the deaths. Jesse dies, nobody ever comments on it. Joel dies, it's the whole motivation for the revenge, but she never really reflects on it. Except she just says, well, Joel liked this. Oh, Joel taught me that. Just offhand comments like that, as if he died peacefully 20 years ago, you know? Doesn't really come off as a revenge story that's properly fueled, you know? And then, you know, all these people die, even on Abby's side. Abby is a straight up sociopath. She has guilt of killing Joel, and that's her motivation for taking care of Lev and Yara, which is so dumb. I feel bad about killing this guy who killed my dad, so I'm gonna save you kids. But I'm gonna kill hundreds of other people throughout the game in very equally brutal ways. So the whole message is completely lost. And you can't say violence is bad while forcing the player to continuously do violence all the fucking time. So the one thing the game's theme was didn't work at all. And, fuck. I'm feeling it. Oh, shit. Fingers are weird. Oh, God. And, sorry. One take. That's all I do. And when people on Abby's side die, she doesn't react that much. The only one that really gets her is Owen and Mel, even though she helped Owen cheat on his pregnant wife with her. Like, Abby's just such a morally gross person. The whole Lev thing is there as a forceful way to try to convince the player, no, she's a great person, she cares. Fuck her. She's such an awful person. And everyone in this world is. Joel is an awful person, but when you sympathize with, So, I just... So frustrating that Abby's such an unlikable, unredeemable character, and we're forced to play as her, and they try so hard to make us care, but I just can't. She's awful. Not even because she's a woman or she's muscular like a bunch of other anti-SJW people have issues with, but it's just as a character she sucks, and the game wants to elevate her to a level she can't reach. It's fucked. And so once you get to the part where Abby lets you live for the second time, she lets Ellie live. That was Abby's attempt of breaking the cycle of revenge. She lost so many people in the attempt to get to Ellie, and when she's finally got it, Lev is what grounds her back to reality and lets Dina and Ellie go. That's fine. But Ellie... They try justifying her continuing the revenge because when she's in the farm happy with Dina and the child, she still has like PTSD over Joel's death. Understandable. But I feel like it was just added in as a forced way to try to say, oh, she needs to go back for revenge. Tommy comes back and is like, no, Tommy at first says, hey, lock her up. Don't let her come for me. I'm going to get revenge. She's going to want to. Don't let her. After the whole revenge thing goes awry, Ellie, you piece of shit, why aren't you getting revenge? You specifically have to. I can't. I'm One-Eyed Jax. And you could say, oh, well, a lot of things happened since his character's developed. He lost an eye and a leg to this woman. Well, maybe that should be a lesson. Hey, she let you go. All this happened. Maybe don't do it again. But no. Ellie just becomes completely irrational, even though she has everything she could want. Like, to have a farm with the woman you love and a child to take care of in a farm, in an apocalypse, a peaceful, isolated setting, and you're going to throw that all away? Like, I just could not get behind Ellie's motivations. And so because of that, I did not care for the story either way. At that point, I was like, honestly, I hope Abby kills her. The game weirdly got me on Abby's side. So kudos to that. Because the last time you play with her is when her and Lev find out where the Fireflies are, and it seems like almost a really happy ending for them. Like, holy shit, they got what they wanted. And at that point, I'm like, okay, they deserve it. They're not being villainous pieces of shit anymore. They're just living their life trying to join the Fireflies. And before they can do that, the Ravagers fucking capture them. I'm like, leave them alone, Neil Druckmann. Come on, let them live. So, it kind of manipulated me into rooting for Abby and Lev, so good for Neil. Yeah, once Ellie kills everyone in an admittedly great section, the whole prison thing is emblematic of Ellie's journey and just revenge as a whole, because Ellie breaks the prisoners free. She's like, "Where's Abby?" And they're like, "Oh, she's on the beach. Come on, guys, let's go fight for freedom." And then you're running, you just hear, "Oh God, there's so many. They're armed. Fall back." And you see a building explode, and you're just like, I couldn't help but think of "We did it, Patrick. We saved the city." Like, in Ellie's quest for revenge, it was very God of War like, where she just doesn't care who's in her way. Everything can blow up for all she cares. So I thought that was quite solid, even though she was rational in going back to pursuing her after everything that happened is dumb. I don't agree with it. But if this is the route we have to go, it's okay so far. I don't hate it. I think gameplay-wise, that ending part is some of the most fun I had. It felt like I was playing like a Tom Clancy game or some shit. I'm just sneaking through a mansion. It felt like a favela in like Wildlands. And then it's the only time in the game I ever used those explosive traps. And every single time it was so satisfying. Just hear, oh, you're just like, you feel like Kevin McAllister. Yes! I'm telling you, shout out to the gameplay, man. It gets tedious and mundane because you do the same thing over and over again without much variation. But it is quite fun to play sometimes. And then once you find Abby on the beach, you cut her down. It looks like you guys are gonna get out, go your separate ways. And that would have been solid to me, even though it's super anticlimactic. It's just seeing her so weak and pathetic. I was like, I literally went, "Oh God, Ellie, leave her alone. She's so pathetic." And you see two boats are like, okay, they're gonna go their own way. And then Ellie remembers Joel. That is actually a great little moment, because she's like, "I came all this way, putting a knife to Lev. Fight me or the kid gets it." And Abby's just like, "Oh God, fine." I'm just like, "Ellie, stop. You guys are like about to die. Stop." And then the fight is fucking great. And then as soon as she's about to finish drowning Abby, she remembers Joel, and then she stops. I honestly do not agree with that. It makes sense, but it doesn't fit in with what the story we're presented with. It would have made sense for Ellie to kill her and then feel empty inside, like get no satisfaction. Like, you went all this way for revenge, and what do you get out of it? Nothing. I don't know, like, if I, not my rewrite of the game, but if I had to work with this structure, I would have had Ellie kill Abby. She just looks at Lev in the boat, and she just gets on her own boat and just goes away, looks back, see Abby's floating body in the water, and Lev just weakly looking out from the boat. And that's up to interpretation. How the hell is Lev gonna survive on his own? I don't fucking know. And then same thing, Ellie comes home, can't play her guitar, the one thing that connects her to Joel, and she's in an empty house. That's all you need, just this utter emptiness that this revenge has left her. It'd be fine. But the fact that she doesn't kill her, and the flash that she has of Joel, which dictates her choice to not kill her, doesn't work for me in the context of everything that's happened. It just doesn't work. Because she did all of this just to not go through with the kill, and you don't know exactly why. The one flashback to Joel, the one flash, that's all we have to work with. That dictates her decision. I'm not going to kill Abby. Either way, she ends up going back home alone. Can't even play her guitar anymore, the one thing that connected her to Joel, because Abby took 2 of her fingers. So it just feels like, what the fuck? Like, I think what the ending was supposed to do is make you feel like, oh, that's so sad. She's lost everything from revenge. Isn't revenge bad, guys? But the problem is, I fundamentally disagreed with the second journey Ellie took. When Dina's trying to talk her out of it, kind of, right before she leaves to go to California, I was on Dina's side. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You have everything you want. Stop. Let it go. Let it go. Learn to forgive. So at that point, I was like, once she got home to that empty house, I'm like, you deserve this. Fuck you. You didn't even accomplish your mission of killing Abby, so fuck you. It's so dumb. I just fucking hated this story. It's such a waste of time. I can't help but think back to the ending of Burn After Reading, where J.K. Simmons is like the CIA head or whatever. He's asking report on everyone, and what happened to this girl, and what about oh fuck, I forgot all about her. What did we learn from this? What the fuck did we learn? And then the guy's like, don't do this again. Yeah, fuck it, don't do this again. Because like that ending is brilliant for that movie, because it's all about everything so pointless, so stupid, it's hilarious. But when it reflects that your super serious game, you might have messed up if I can relate your super serious story to Burn After Reading. That ending is a fucking joke. And just that one simple tweak of well, okay, so this is how I'm trying to explain it. If she were to kill Abby, one, it'd go against Abby sparing her twice. You can't even say that Ellie sparing Abby is due to Abby sparing her, because if she cared about Abby sparing her, she wouldn't have done the second revenge journey in the first place. So that argument holds no water. So really it only holds true. She should have killed Abby. It was the only way. She'd accomplish her mission that the whole game sets up. But she'd still feel empty and be empty. She'd have nothing. She'd feel nothing. Nothing would change, except everything changes for the worst. It's not what she wanted. She gets her revenge, but turns out it's not what she wanted at all. Was it worth the cost? No. So ultimately, the story is a mess. Ellie should have killed Abby, and it might have worked. Might have. But the whole thing feels like a waste of time. Way longer than it has to be. The whole violence is bad. Is awful. Like, there's so many instances. Ellie, the game forcing Ellie to kill the dog, and then in Abby's section, you're playing fetch with the dog. Oh, you love the dog so much. Don't you feel like a piece of shit for killing that dog? Like, fuck you. No. I've been killing so many dogs throughout the game. Why would I give a shit about this one? Because the game's like, no, Abby represents everyone in this world. Abby represents that every enemy you kill has personality. They have wants, they have dreams. Oh, don't you feel so bad for killing? Oh, they say names. They say names of people that die when you kill them. Oh, feels so bad. No. One, so many enemy character models are reused, so the whole idea that they're human completely goes out the window. I still see them as NPCs, so it doesn't work at all. At all. it just comes off as pathetic and so sad in a like a oh, that's just sad, Neil. Come on, man. Not in a oh, I'm crying way. And you just never give a shit about anything the game wants you to. And another example is when you go to Lev back when they're at the Seraphite camp, and then the invasion is happening and you're riding your horse through literal hell. Oh, everyone's screaming, everyone's killing each other. Isn't violence so sad? Oh, it just makes you... I was shocked. I was less speechless playing this game. Oh, it was like Schindler's List. Like, you've been killing both factions. Even fucking Abby turns on her own people and starts killing them. So why does it matter that they're killing each other? Abby's worse because she kills both. Oh my god, Abby's so irredeemable that she's so violent and psychotic and sociopathic that she renders the whole violence as bad thing null and irrelevant. I hate this game so much. It's so dumb. It's a disaster. It can't even tell the story it wants to properly. Make it make sense. Characters don't make sense. And a lot that happens in this game is, I'm gonna do it. No, don't do it. I'm gonna do it anyways. Abby going on her own to find Joel, and that's how she coincidentally runs into Joel in the middle of a blizzard. And that's how she luckily ends up luring him and Tommy back to their base and killing him. And then it goes to Lev being like, I'm gonna go talk to Mom. And Yara's like, you're gonna get killed, dude. And then Lev's like, I don't give a shit. Takes the boat, goes to see Mom. Of course it goes off. She tried to kill me. I pushed her. She went bonk, like that dog hammer me. Bonk. She went bonk on the table. Oh, feel bad for me. Violence is bad. I'm like, shut up, Lev. And then immediately after he loses his sister, oh, violence is so bad. It's all your fault, Lev. Your mother could have lived had you not gone. Your sister would be alive had you not gone. This is all your fault, you fucking piece of shit. Everyone's a piece of shit in this game, and it's all in service to the message, violence and revenge is bad. I don't need 20 hours of a bad game to tell me that. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. I'm so mad right now. Holy fuck. The game is such a letdown. The story of the first is so tightly and intricate with its details. It perfectly structured and paced. Boom. You start the beginning of the outbreak. Sarah dies. Oh god, that scene hurts so bad. I didn't even know her that much, but I knew her long enough to know that her and Joel had a relationship that was airtight. And then she dies. Holy fuck, that hurts. And after that, we cut to the everyday life of a sad, miserable older man who now lives in a bleak world, and this is what he does. And then things take a turn. The inciting incident, when he meets Ellie, you gotta take him to the Fireflies Capitol building. You go, and then, due to a turn of events, boom, you organically find out, oh shit, she's immune. Alright, fine, we'll take you. Tess says, Joel, this is real shit. You gotta take her to the Fireflies. Just do that for me. We're shitty people, Joel. Just do it. Okay, I will. I know can help us. Bill can help us. And then throughout, you're just trying to get to the Fireflies. It all organically builds a relationship with Ellie through gameplay and cutscenes, and you grow to genuinely care about her. All the dialogue and the world building shit is fantastic, and by the end, you fully agree with Joel's decision. Now, one thing I do also want to say that's so awful about the second is that the first game, if you listen to the audio log, tells you there was a chance Ellie could have been a cure. It was never guaranteed. And the second game retcons this to make you think it was guaranteed. You get the cure, Ellie dies. So it retroactively makes Joel seem like a shit person for the decision he made. But he was right. He was right. If I grew to care about someone who basically became my unofficial daughter, like, dude, oh my god, I cried 3 times in the original game when I first played it back in high school. The beginning, opening scene. The second time is when Ellie brutally kills Nolan North's character. And he's like, I got you, baby girl, it's okay. And she, oh my god, I feel like crying just talking about it. Like, that moment is so powerful because you can pinpoint the moment Joel loves her enough to see her as his own fucking daughter. Oh my god. And then the other moment that does it for me is when she runs off to the house and she says, because everyone I care about leaves except for fucking you. Like, their relationship is so natural and so good. That's why the game is revered as one of the greatest stories ever told, man. And people who think they're smart say, oh, well, if you think that story's good, you've never read a movie or book. Well, you fucking idiots. I may not read books, but I'm a film major. I've seen a few movies, and I'll tell you, even then, The Last of Us is still one of the greatest stories ever told because of how only in games can you end up caring about a character so much, so directly. And the second one, you end up fundamentally disagreeing with Ellie by the end. You're just not feeling anything for her. Like, that ending should have crushed me. But because I was so against Ellie's actions, I did not care. I'm like, you're such an awful person for abandoning the life you have to pursue stupid revenge that did not work out the first time. Why would you do it again? It's like, I guess Neil wanted you to feel these things. Like, he never wanted you to agree with anyone. But that's the problem. If I don't agree, if I don't want to participate in this, then why the fuck should I care what happens to them? That'd be like putting out a Ted Bundy rhythm game saying, yeah, Ted Bundy's such a piece of shit. Oh man, he's gonna die in the end. Don't you feel bad for doing everything? It's like, no, you're making me play as fucking Ted Bundy. I have no sympathy for this guy. And then he ends up dying in the end. Oh god, oh fuck. I'm so sad for fucking this sociopathic murderer. Like, oh my god, this game's so stupid. I don't... This is the thing. I could see why people like it, but for the life of me, I cannot understand how anyone in reason can give it a 10 out of 10. It does not work. It doesn't fucking work, man. As a storytelling medium, it falls apart, and people are... That one fucking piece of shit dude compared the game to Schindler's List? Are you fucking serious? This is why games will never be taken seriously. You constantly compare them to other mediums. Oh, this is that. Oh, Last of Us Part 2, Schindler's List. Like, no, dude. The whole violence is bad thing within games itself has been done better by Spec Ops The Line. You know why? Because you have an initial assumption that what you're doing is standard. You're just military grunts doing shit in Dubai. And then over time, like, whoa, the military's turning us. What the fuck? It feels weird to shoot our own guys, but it's survival out here. Fuck it. And then it culminates with the white phosphorus bombing, and you figure out you bombed a bunch of civilians, and the game just completely goes down hell. It's all in your mind. You just delve deeper into hell. Your guys are dying. You get the choice in the end. It's so bleak, and it earns it by building it up. Last was Part 2 just thinks feel bad, but none of it ever lands. The only time the violence ever affected me is the first time I shot the arm off a lady and it just flies out and she's laying on the floor bleeding, go and then it just cuts off and you're like, okay, she died from shock and blood loss. Like, holy fuck, that's horrifying. No other death ever did that. I just cheered. Like, for example, when I was saying in the final mission, when I finally decided to use the bomb traps, I go, yay, confetti, because fuck yeah, games rule. And the whole game insists, no, feel bad, this is super serious. Like, they don't even have like alternate outfits or skins for characters. All you can unlock is a model viewer. I don't even understand how the credits work, but you unlock credits after beating the game, and you're like, okay, I buy this model viewer, I view the model. That's it. So even when you beat it, it's a fucking waste of time. This game to me gets... I really want to say a 4 out of 10, but there's so much that I enjoyed every once in a while that I could elevate it to a 5. I'm just not sure. So let's say 4.5. If I had to give a score, I give this game a 4.5 out of 10. It is the most disappointing thing in years. I'm so excited for Ghost of Tsushima. Sorry this video is long and incoherent, but hey, that's what you signed up for. Hopefully I do a drunken praise of Ghost of Tsushima. I haven't done a drunken praise yet, but now that I'm thinking about it, that sounds like it could be fun. Here's to more games. Gamers rule. Actually, before I do want to talk about the internet discourse, dude. Holy fuck. I've alluded constantly to the whole Schindler's List Last of Us 2 tweet. The fallout from that was ridiculous because Jason Schreier makes a joke about it, and Neil Druckmann screenshots saying, my game's super serious. He didn't literally say this, but basically he was saying this because he's a piece of shit. We all know what he's actually saying. My game's super serious. I think you should let people suck my dick and compare this shit to high tier movies. Personally, I just bought Schindler's List as a meme in response to the tweet, so I'm going to be watching it soon and we'll see how it is. But anyways, then he's like, stop making fun of my game, it's super ethereal. And then Jason Schreier's like, really weird that you're calling out my tweet specifically when I just recently did an expose on the crunch culture at Naughty Dog. And then Cory Barlog replies, you game journalists, I know you guys are bullies. You're being a bully. You're tearing good little boys like me down. And you know what you get? You get what you fucking deserve. And it's like, dude, Cory, you're being a complete piece of shit. Games journalist is bullying someone for bringing up, hey, you're kind of a piece of shit. You should stop crunching your employees. Like, Cory, man. Holy fuck. It just exposes how much... That single tweet exposed how much of an idiot everyone is in the games industry. Like, Jason Schreier is a great games journalist. My only gripe with him is that he's a little complete punk-ass little bitch. Anyone says anything negative about him, instantly blocks them. Like, it's so annoying. The amount of people he's blocked is fucking ridiculous. He's such a punk bitch. Can't take any criticism. But holy shit, he fights the good fight, so I can't hate that man. Holy fuck. Yeah, so I hate Neil Druckmann. Apparently I hate Cory Barlog now. I didn't think I'd do that, but 2020, man. And The Last of Us 2 is really bringing the worst out of everyone. So, yeah, the discourse is awful. I don't ever want to talk about this game again. They say, Neil Druckmann's like, oh, reviewers actually are saying, oh, this game's going to be talked about for the next 10 years. No. Maybe, in terms of how much people hate it, but it won't be discussed. It will be forgotten. It will be nothing. It will vanish like tears in the rain. Neil Druckmann deserves the worst in life. I don't ever want to see him direct another game. He fucked up Uncharted 4. He fucked up The Last of Us Part 2. I never, this is so awful to say, but I want that man out of a job. Like, if you're gonna be that awful to employees and release such shitty, even if he treated them shitty and released good games, you still shouldn't treat employees shitty, regardless of the quality of games. But treating employees shitty and releasing shit games, fuck right off, Neil. You're the worst. You deserve the worst in life. Dude, I fucking hope you buy a lottery ticket and the last number is the only one that doesn't match the winning numbers. I hope Neil Druckmann gets on a bus, a train, or whatever, and as soon as he's about to sit down, another guy sits there, beats him to it. So now he has to stand up. I hope Neil Druckmann orders a sandwich from whatever vegan bullshit place that piece of shit goes to, and they give him the wrong order. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna go on. I fucking hate that dude. He deserves the worst in life. Like, and the defenders, man. The people saying, "Oh, what studio doesn't crunch?" Are you serious? Like, are you in? Oh my god! It literally makes me want to fucking cry in despair. Like, the world is so hopeless that people genuinely do not see the issue with crunch culture and saying every studio does, so it's not wrong. That literally, oh my god, how does that not make you want to cry? It's so hopeless. People genuinely defending anything, man. That's how Republicans exist. That's how Nazis exist. That's how Neil Druckmann fanboys exist. Never thought I'd put those bunch in a comparison, but hey, it's 2020. Anything's possible. But I should really shut up now. I went on that slight tangent way longer than I needed to. Thank you so much for watching. I didn't get drunk. Got a little buzzed, but I like clicks, so I'm going to say Drunkenly Rant. And I'll see you guys next time. Here's to gaming, because gamers are the best and totally not the worst.